As a quick primer for the uninitiated, when it comes to gaming, Nvidia has pretty much owned the top end of gaming performance generation after generation for the past 10 years. It's not to say AMD Radeon products don't have a place. In fact, for the vast majority of gamers who don't buy top end Nvidia products like the GTX 1070, 1080, or Titan, AMD graphics cards offer just as good if not better value in many cases as their direct Nvidia rivals. With more leaked Vega benchmarks making their way into our dirty grubby hands, once again it seems AMD is playing catch up, probably without meeting the best Nvidia has to offer today. I will emphasize that I am speaking of gaming performance, not more practically minded uses for graphics cards, because chances are you're here because you're a gamer. Compared to AMD and Intel's rivalry in the CPU market, Nvidia never really stagnates except in a very few specific instances. By comparison, Intel stagnated with small enough improvements over the past few years to give AMD a chance to catch up with Ryzen. The same situation is highly unlikely when it comes to AMD catching Nvidia at the top end of performance because Nvidia has committed the resources to being the performance leader. They simply command it with precision. Holding the majority of market share in dedicated graphics cards gives Nvidia the revenue to market their products, influence game developers, and most of all recycle that cash inflow into research and development of new products. It must be considered that Nvidia, as diverse as their portfolio is more based around developing high-performance graphics processors. Nvidia's Tegra SoCs use ARM-licensed CPU cores, coupled to the same graphics technology used in their other products, including scientific computing and of course gaming, plus they make more money than AMD to boot. Their business as a whole leverages the same silicon across a wide range of uses. They were the first to make GPU an important thing for scientific computing, and now they're taking Tegra into cars. At very many crucial points in time, Nvidia saw burgeoning markets and they took full advantage of it. It's not to say Nvidia didn't have its share of duds or issues, but they generally worked through them pretty quickly. I think for many people the GTX 480 comes to mind. With AMD's Ryzen out, AMD stands to regain a real foothold in the desktop and server markets when it comes to CPUs, so AMD might be able to subsidize the cost of more accelerated graphics development. Big wins in large-scale GPU computing like with Google are definitely a big help. However, effectively AMD will need to be making revenue figures closer to pre-ATI purchase days in order to directly compete with Intel and Nvidia at the same time. It means making major improvements in both CPUs and GPUs year after year to prevent stagnation and the vulnerability that comes with it. I will say one way I do appreciate AMD's efforts with Radeon is the massive focus on non-gaming applications. It just took way too long to bear any real fruit. I certainly expect Vega to deliver great performance in GPU applications, as GCN has from the very beginning. But for the foreseeable future, AMD will have to focus on value to gamers who want excellent graphics processing at a great price. It just means us cheaper consumers get great products like the RX 480 and likewise the GTX 1060. For the time being, I see Vega perhaps being the Ryzen of the GPU world, but unlike Intel, Nvidia has been delivering awesome generation after generation since Fermi, aka the GTX 400 series. I think what is most funny is that all this really started with the failed merger of Nvidia and AMD in 2005. AMD then paid way too much money for ATI in 2006, and the Core 2 Duo caught the Athlon 64X2 with its pants down. Add to that culture clash with extended development times, and you have AMD and ATI being forced to play catch up with their rivals after each successive generation, all while AMD was losing considerable amount of market share in the CPU market. The dammit name in the early AMD plus ATI days was actually quite applicable when you think about it, and when you look at what happened afterwards. The dammit monster is no more, and the ATI name has been retired, but I don't see why AMD can't resurge to its former glory. By opposite, Nvidia has seen consistent growth since 2006, but for the near future will hold superiority over AMD when it comes to delivering the best gaming graphics cards. And once again, this comes down to the fact that they are always bringing in the revenue, and they know where to smartly spend their money to keep that revenue coming in quarter after quarter after quarter. I just have a bad feeling that Vega will be Fury all over again. By the time drivers catch up with its latent performance, Nvidia will have a new generation out and the performance bar will have moved accordingly. It's kind of hard to say what will happen, especially if Polaris gets rehashed for the RX 500 series. If that's the case, let's hope Vega covers a wide range of SKUs, including the RX 580, 590, and of course the simply put RX Vega. As always, things are sure to get interesting. Anyways, my name is Blitz, that's all I have for you today. Hope you guys have a good one, and thanks for watching.